Welcome to Hybrid Diaries, episode 11. I am here with Chris Jones, and more specially, we have Joe Clent on the show. Welcome to the show, Joe.
Especially, I like that. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
And Chris, do you want to say hello?
Hello everyone, how we doing?
So I thought it would be fun to get both of you on. Joe, you are new to Spirit Level. You joined the Hyrox beginner program that Chris is running, and
I did.
you're just about to do your first Hyrox in 3 weeks' time.
I am. Yes. Thank you for the reminder.
Tell
Not long.
us, tell us how you're feeling about it.
Do you know what? I'm actually quite excited about it. Nervous a bit, but and I know when I get there, I'll probably be quite anxious. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good. I'm excited. I'm just watching a lot of videos on tips and tricks on pacing, for example, things like this. Yeah, but I am looking forward to it. It'll be good.
Nice, nice. Joe, before we go into loads of detail about your training and Hyrox in particular, like
Mm.
I only know you from you doing the beginner program with Chris. So tell us and the listeners a little bit more about your sporting background. Is sport always been a thing for you? And how are you juggling your training and like life at home, for example?
Yeah. So no, to say sporting background kind of makes me giggle because I definitely don't have a sporting background. Um, I've never really been big into sport, to be honest. At school, I didn't really like PE. I was never in any sport teams or anything like that. And I'd say probably in my 20s was when I started to get a little bit more into it. I joined a gym, started to go to the gym a little bit, but I've never had a PT or joined any kind of specific programs or trained for any specific competitions. And I've done some running in the past, so I've entered and I've run quite a lot of organised like 5K runs, 10K runs. I did a half marathon once in London. Um, but even with that, I just kind of winged it with my training. I've never had a specific program to follow. I just would put on my shoes and be like, right, I'm going for a run and just hope to do my best, basically. So yeah, that's kind of as far as I got really with sporting, so to speak. And then I moved to Dubai 12 years ago, and then even my gym going really fell to the wayside. And I did that thing a lot of people do when they move here is you just tend to pile on the pounds a little bit and a lot of brunching and stuff like that. So I didn't really go to the gym even then at all much. So I've kind of got into it in the last few years really after COVID. COVID meant that I started to work from home because I work full time. I've got two small children, so I started to work from home and realised quickly that actually not going to an office every day was quite detrimental because I wasn't seeing people and speaking to people, so I needed to get out and make sure I was meeting people. So I joined an F45 and started going to that to get back into fitness and meeting people and stuff. So that's kind of how I got back into to doing some fitness stuff over the last few years.
Nice. And you said you've got two kids. How old are they?
Yeah, I've got my daughter Erin, she's 8, and my son Ethan is 6. So
And
yeah, so they keep me busy at home.
and how is it trying to juggle being a mum to two and get your training in and work? Obviously, I see
Yeah,
You've got your Britney headphones on, so that
I've
makes
got my
life easier.
Brittany. Exactly. Yeah, that makes life easier. I can be hands free. Um, do you know what? Actually, COVID in a way for me was it was a big change in terms of lifestyle because working from home because we don't have any help at home, which I know is quite rare in Dubai, like no nanny or cleaner or anything. So for me, it just meant that I was here when they come home from school, so I didn't have to stress about kind of childcare arrangements and stuff because they're old enough really to kind of do their own thing and look after themselves at home. But I can be here, and my husband qualified during COVID to be a teacher, so he does all the school runs. So that's definitely something that helps me a lot that I know a lot of other people might struggle with because it means when they leave in the morning, I can get out and get my workout in first
Nice,
thing before I start work. Yeah.
nice. Oh, that's awesome. And obviously, how long? It's been what, 8 weeks now that you've been on the beginner program? 8, 9 weeks, is it?
Yeah, I think so about that. I've
And how's
lost
that
count,
going?
Chris.
How's that been going? I'll ask Chris a bit in a minute how he thinks it's been going, but how have you found it
Yeah,
so far?
he could give you an honest opinion. I've really enjoyed it. I've loved it. I've really liked the different kind of training. So I've loved coming to track with you guys and doing that. I can remember the first time I came to track, I was like, oh my God, I feel like a potato running. Like that's was like, I'm not built for running. Um, and just seeing, like, for myself, seeing an improvement in my pace for running and just my recovery as well when I'm doing all sorts of different training. Just my recovery time is quicker, stuff like that. So it's been nice to have a different kind of training and a mix of different stuff. I've really enjoyed it. Yeah. I've been
Nice.
really committed to it as well. I feel like I knew when I was going to sign up for it. I ummed and ahed a little bit, and I thought, oh, can I do this? Because I wanted to do Hyrox in a double and entered
Yeah.
it, and then now I'm doing it solo. And I was like, if I don't commit to a program, I'm not going to do it. So I knew I had
Yeah.
to be committed.
Chris, how's she been? Has she been committed?
Be
Yes,
nice.
you've been. No, you've been awesome. You've been, yeah, and that's kind of like the key word there. I think with any program you follow, it's commitment. It's like it's dedicating your time to that 10, 12, however many weeks it is, and trusting the process. I think that's where a
Mm.
lot of people do fall short. Is they sign up for something or they say they're going to do it, but they don't commit through the good and the bad times. And because you're now starting to see the benefits of it, which is hopefully giving you the motivation to keep going.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like it kept me committed over Christmas, which was a big thing because I knew if I didn't sign up to something like this, that I would during Christmas, I'd definitely have taken more rest days and think, oh, that doesn't matter. I'll just take another extra day here and there, as we all
Yeah.
do over that period of time. It's easy to fall into that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been good.
Like having someone there you're accountable to, right? You're accountable to Chris and you've got a program to follow and Chris is going to support you all the way there. And yeah, I think at Christmas time, I think I recall Chris advising you guys to take some downtime over Christmas, but like still tick over, I think it's
Yeah.
important to have that. But no, that's awesome. Mate, what was it that appealed to you about Hyrox and hybrid training? Like what is it? How did you hear about it? And what was the appeal?
So first time I'd heard of Hyrox was last year, beginning of the summer, I think. Somebody in my gym said to me, have you heard of Hyrox? I said, no, no idea what that is. So they told me a little bit about it. I researched it a little bit and I thought, oh, that looks good. We knew it was coming to Dubai at that time. Um, so I went with a friend and did one of the PFTs. And at that PFT, Michael, your coach Michael, was there. That's when I met Michael, and he told me about Spirit Level. So that's when I heard about you guys and started following you guys on social media and stuff. So it was kind of on my radar then. I was seeing a lot of stuff about it on social media, and my friend and I decided to enter, but as a in a relay team. So we entered the September one in Dubai, and we did it as a relay. So we were a mixed relay team, and we just did it really for fun. We didn't really properly train for it, I've got to be honest. We just turned up and winged it, which, as I have done all my life, just wing it. And we really enjoyed it. Like the buzz of the arena and everything was really good. We all got a bit of a buzz from it. So we decided we definitely wanted to do it again. And that's when my friend and I were like, okay, next year we'll definitely enter doubles. But when Hyrox said they were coming in February to Dubai, she's not here in February. So I thought, okay, I can either get someone else to do it as doubles, which she wasn't keen for me to do. She was like, please don't do it with someone else. This is our thing now. So I thought, you know what? I'll just do it myself. I'll challenge myself to do it,
Nice.
which was it. I ummed and ahed on that for a while because I wasn't sure I could do it, but I'm glad that I've committed to it.
Yeah. And you've been sticking to the program, so I'm sure that you feel much more confident now heading into that race.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Or like somebody asked me actually the other night, somebody said, is there any stations in particular that you're kind of dreading? And it was a good question because I thought, do you know what? Actually, if they'd have asked me that a couple of months ago, I'd have been like, yes, the sled pull, the wall balls, but all of it. I mean, obviously, I know it's going to be really difficult, and I'm going to be, especially by wall balls, like so fatigued. But now I just feel like every station, I've got little tips, and like Chris has shown me good techniques on everything. So I feel like confident with how I'm, how to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it feels good.
Nice. Nice. That's actually
Yeah,
one of my questions. Go on, Chris.
I was like, you're doing better than me. My first high rocks, I just rocked up with zero training and hope for the best. So
Yeah.
you're already light years ahead of me.
I'm pretty sure you'll still probably get a better time than I will.
Hmm.
Everybody keeps asking me that as well. Like, have you got a time in mind? And honestly, at this point, I'm just going to be happy to finish it.
Finishing a Hyrox is an achievement in itself. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't. So no, that's awesome. What would you say then what's the most important or most helpful thing that you've learned so far by following a program, having Chris's tips? What would you say has been the biggest like help for you so far?
Well, that's a good question. Definitely, I think the whole pacing thing and also learning about different zones.
Hmm.
So I hadn't ever really looked. I got an Apple Watch. When did I get that? I got that last year for my 40th. And I've never really, I mean, I use it, but I really just use it for looking at like how many calories I've burned. And I've never really looked at it broken down, into zones and stuff like that. So that's been really interesting to look at that and focus on that and think about pacing, because I think I've very much always been one of those people that I just kind of want to go for it. And like on a ski erg, for example, I'll just smash out a ski erg like as fast as I can and
Yeah.
until I'm absolutely dying on the floor. Um, so it's been really good to have those kind of things in my head to remember, you've got to pace yourself and you've got to think about, not spiking your heart rate too high, especially on like the burpees and stuff. All of those kind of tips are the kind of things, if I hadn't have signed up to this, I would have just been doing my own training and I wouldn't have really known anything about, I wouldn't have thought of it like that. I would have just been practicing each station and not really thinking about it as a whole event or all of it together, really,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
And how's Chris been? He been as a coach?
Oh, yeah, I don't no, Chris has been great. He's been really good. He's been really motivational. He like encouraged me to enter he did the Dubai marathon run the other week, the 10K, and he encouraged me to enter that. And I was so glad I did, because I got a personal best
Yeah.
since probably my early 20s. I don't think I'd run a 10K in under an hour for a long, long
Nice.
time. So yeah, really encouraging. Um, Always updating on the app sites to show me what I need to do, or comments and feedback on what I've done. So yeah, it's been good. I've really enjoyed it.
And you find
Thanks,
that
Chris.
oh and you find having that feedback helpful, and would you say that's quite motivating knowing that you put your comments in, and you know that there's someone on the other end that's going to read that and respond about that
Yeah,
particular workout?
yeah, definitely, yeah. Because I think everybody responds well to what's the word? Praise, right? If you're doing something and you've done it well, obviously you always want constructive criticisms on how to do stuff better. But when you do something better and it's an achievement for yourself, you want that from somebody else, especially someone, like Chris, who's training me specifically for this. So for him to be like, I'm really proud of you for doing this, it motivates you and makes you think, you know what, yeah, I can do this. I'm
Yeah.
not going to be,
Well,
I'm not going to be scared turning up to Hyrox, like panicking that I can't do it, because I know I can. I'm relying on Chris to be at the side cheering me on.
I'll be there. Don't you worry.
He'll be there. You're going to make a banner.
Yeah.
he said
Little Go Joe banner.
he told me he'd just run it with you if you want. He'll do it again.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
why
that
not?
sounds good. That sounds good. Yeah,
Um,
I'm there for it.
Joe, you mentioned earlier about track. You said you had been enjoying track then. So that was actually one of my questions. So obviously, I don't know if you'd been to the track before. Is that something have you ever ran an athletics track? And how do you find it on Mondays? Obviously, I know that there's a lot of people out there that get intimidated about running at an athletics track, and they think that it's just loads of fast runners and it's going to feel intimidating. But how did it feel for you on your first time, and how does it feel for you now?
Yeah, no, I'd never run around an athletic track before. I got so lost when I got there. I was running into the gym next door, like, do you know where the running track is? They're like, no, they didn't even know. I was like, oh, great. Anyway, when I found it, yeah, I didn't feel intimidated by it, but it was clear when we started. I was thinking, oh goodness, these people are all really good at running, and I'm really not. And I remember being really conscious that everybody was really quite a lot faster than me. And to be honest, even now, like I know I'm a bit of a slower runner. My pace has definitely improved, but I know compared to others that go, my pace is slower. But it doesn't bother me, because I just know everybody has a different pace, and some people have been doing this for a long time, some are new to it, and it totally depends on what you've maybe done the day before, what you've eaten, how if you're hydrated, all of those things, how much sleep you've had. So I try not to compare myself to others, which I think is really important, which is also something I think I've really thought more about whilst doing this program with Chris, is just about how varied everybody's fitness levels are, and you just can't compare yourself to other people. Like, you've just got to do it for yourself. And I think at track, it's a good way, because I know myself that I'm better than I was however many weeks ago. So that kind of motivates me to keep going. I don't think, oh no, I'm not going to go because everybody's going to be faster than me. It's good. It's actually inspiring as well. Like, even on this week on Monday, someone I'd never met before, she ran past me, and she was like, "You're looking strong, keep going, keep going." And she said to me something at the end, like, "You're doing really well." And I've never spoken to her before, but just, it's so nice. Like, it's such a nice team. It's a really nice community. It's been really nice, like, getting to meet lots of your members, because it's just really inspirational.
Nice, nice. That's nice to hear. And one question I just thought of when you were talking then about track. So you mentioned earlier about how one of the biggest things that you found helpful from doing the program is learning how to pace. Would you say
Hmm.
track's been had a good input on that? Learning how to pace your running, for example?
Yeah, definitely. So, like, this week when we had to do 1,200 meter laps, it was good, like, lapping it on my watch, and seeing what my kind of pace was, and not trying to push it so that I was like dead on my feet by the end, but just really thinking about my breathing and everything and getting around. Yeah, it's definitely helped, I think. I
Good.
can see an overall improvement just generally on my fitness. I think track's had a lot to do with it.
Good, good. Well, that's good to hear. That's music to our ears. My next question for you, mate. I know you said earlier that you don't believe you are dreading any station, but is there one in particular that you don't feel as strong as at the moment, or you're like, oh, not looking forward to that? And on the other hand, is there one that you're like, yeah, I've got this one? Like, what's your favorite station and what's your worst?
Oh, I think the one I'm probably at the moment most worried about is farmer's carry, because I'm worried about grip.
Right.
I had to work on my grip. Um, but anyway, yeah, I think they slip so easily. And I suppose when you've been running, and I'm going to probably have sweaty palms and whatever. I know there'll be chalk there, but I think that one is the one that I'm most, because people make that look so easy. Of all the stations, people make that one that like just like a breeze. They just pick them up and they're like, yeah, and they practically run through. I think I'm going to be the person that looks like has to keep putting them down and picking them up. So yeah, that one is playing on my mind a little bit. In terms of, oh, I don't know, maybe the ski erg, but maybe that's just because it's at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think I'll be all right on that one. Yeah, there's none of them that I'm like, oh yeah, I've got that in the bag. I'm just kind of going into it with my eyes open, that I know every station's going to be challenging.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, obviously you joined us in your first Hyrox training, right? And you joined the beginner program and you're being coached by Chris. What advice would you give someone who is looking to get into Hyrox or training the Hyrox style, the hybrid style? I know there's a lot of people that are like interested in it but don't end up doing it. And what advice would you give that person?
Well, I definitely would recommend Spirit Level, to be honest. And I'm not just saying that. I like honestly think that you guys, I mean, it's proof from all the flags that you've got on your wall in your gym. You obviously have got a good team of people that are specifically, trained for Hyrox, and you do it all the time. So it's really good to train with people that have the expertise and experience in doing it. Um, I think it's important also to get your running miles up and just get out there, and remember that, half of Hyrox is running. So you've really got to be able to um, not just cover the distance, but also, and I've said it throughout, but just thinking about your pacing and stuff like that, so that you're not absolutely killing yourself in each one. So yeah, I think just I'd say to anyone that's thinking about it, just to try some kind of hybrid training in a hybrid specific gym, because it's quite different from doing any other kind of direct uh, training.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Um, Okay, mate. One of my last questions for you, and then I'm going to see if you've got any questions for me, and if Chris has got anything that he wants to add in. Um, what is the hardest thing that you've ever done, or should I ask you this when you've done high rocks?
Yeah. Oh God, the hardest thing I've ever done. That's a big question. Um, You've put me on the spot. I don't know, but I mean, at the moment, yeah, I would be saying just ask me after Hyrox. Physically, probably Hyrox. You know,
Yeah.
I've had 2 children, and I'd say even then, I'd say yeah, ask me after Hyrox.
Have you got any questions for us, Joe?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Sure. No burning desires you want to
no,
ask?
not at the moment. I'll have to think of them and ask you them now. I'm going to come up with loads of questions over the next week. Um,
What about you, Chris? Have you
no,
got anything you want to ask?
Um, See, I just came here for the chat. I didn't realize I had to have questions as well. No, I
not
suppose like
prepared.
kind of, I suppose with anything. I mean, I might regret asking this now, but let's all be honest. Within the program that you've been doing so far with us here, myself and George and Spirit Level, is there anything you maybe thought of? Oh, that'd be quite nice if that was added in, or little tweaks that maybe that you might have popped in your head over here or over there. Can be good or bad. I'm open to any feedback.
No, I don't think so. Like, I think everything you've put in covers all of the stuff we do. I find sometimes on like the days when I should be doing strength training, I feel I wouldn't say lost is the word because everything that I'm meant to do is in the app that you put in what I'm meant to be doing. But like I don't have my gym at home is pretty basic. There's not a lot of equipment in it. There's not a lot of kind of varied weights and stuff. So um, I often find myself going and doing like a strength class at another gym, like a different, which means I'm not doing the exact exercises perhaps you've set, but I am doing strength
Yeah,
stuff. So I'd say those are the 2 days that I sometimes feel a bit like, oh, I'm not doing exactly what you said I should be doing, but I am doing strength. So I feel a little bit like, um, is what I'm doing enough on those days? But I'm still doing it. So it's not like I feel, I mean, you've put in there what I should be doing. So that's kind of a personal thing, really, I suppose, is should basically have a better gym.
It's all coming out
Get
now,
better,
look.
get a better gym access. There, that's it.
shouldn't have asked. No,
um, but no, like everything else, I think it's been good. It's been really, it's covered everything. And there's nothing that I'm thinking, oh, I wish I'd, I don't think I'm going to get there to Hyrox in the day. And I don't think there's going to be anything in it that I'll be thinking, oh, I wish I'd done more of this, or I wish we'd spoken more about this, or I wish we'd, trained more in this. I feel like
yeah,
it's like every Wednesday, our Hyrox specific training sessions are really good because you really try and cover every station when you can. And obviously now you're like increasing the runs and stuff that we do in between them. So yeah, I feel well prepared.
nice.
Again, ask me afterwards and I'll have
That's
different answers.
Well,
afterwards.
speaking of afterwards, so let's if you're up for it, Joe, we'll get you back on. So we can finish off now, and we'll write a few more questions down for you. Maybe even ask the same questions after, and we'll get you back on and see how it
Yeah,
was doing your first solo one, and then we can kind of blend the 2 episodes together, and people can watch the before and after. So that sound
sounds
like a
good.
plan?
Sounds
Yeah,
good. Yeah. I'll
awesome.
keep that in mind. See, now when I'm running it, I'll be
Yeah,
like, I've just got to be good for the podcast.
yeah. There you
I've got to
go.
get a good
There you
time. Yeah,
Got to get a good time.
exactly.
Awesome. All right. Well, if no one else has got anything else to add, then we can leave it at that. I really appreciate you coming on, Joe, and I'm going to
Yeah,
see you in
thanks
the
for
gym
having me.
soon. Good luck in the next few weeks of training, and
Thank you.
I will see you at the race. But we've got a big tent for this one, so we'll have a load of spirit level people there. I think we'll have over 100 people this time, which is pretty
Awesome.
cool. Yeah. So
That is
I'll
cool.
obviously see you in the gym in the week. Have a great weekend, and
Yeah, thank you
yeah,
very
we'll
much.
we'll catch up next week. And same to you,
Thanks,
Chris.
guys.
I'll see you in the gym this weekend.
Shall do, mate.
Cheers. Bye.
See you
Cheers.
guys.
Bye. Thanks.